How do you do that? How do you change your mind away from fear to big, hairy, audacious goals? How do you do this thing where you become what you think about? How do you think about something different? Well, you do what you're doing now, but you do it on such a consistent basis that it changes the makeup and the shape of your psyche, your spirit, and your future and your destiny. And here's what I mean. All of us have put a certain amount of stupid stuff into our brain. It's called television. We watch some of the dumbest things on the planet. And I've talked to many, many millionaires. Most of them can't tell you who got thrown off the island. Most of them don't spend their time on that. So we put all this toxic crap in our brain. We let people talk to us and tell us you can't do that. What's your end game? Aw. And you store that in your brain, and this toxicity builds up in your body, in your spirit, in your mind, in your future, and in your destiny. And pretty soon, toxicity, we know what it does. It freezes to the pipes and stops up everything. And anything that's stopped up eventually begins to stink. We know how this works, you and I. So my wife, Sharon, it's ridiculous. She's 56 years old, 57 years old now, and has zero body fat and is in incredible condition, which is both simultaneously shaming, since I'm not, and wonderful, since she's my wife. So she gets up in the morning, goes to the Y for 3.5 to 7 hours a day. No, I'm kidding, and goes for a run with her little friends. They got their little running herd, and they go for a run. And women talk when they run. I just sweat and can't breathe when I run. So people run up alongside me and say, "How you doing?" I'm like, I just keep going, right? So I'm just happy to be here. Shut up. And then she comes home and goes to the Vitamix and begins to put stuff in this shake that human beings were not supposed to drink in a shake. God said so in Second Hesitations. What in the world? These things don't go together, not in a shake. And you're putting spinach and, you lost your mind. And then mixes this stuff up, and it turns into the equivalent of what is toxic waste in a cup. Drinks it, and then asks me a really dumb question. Want some? No, I don't want some. I'm not drinking that crap. No, thank you. There's something else that's like normal humans could. Oh, no. Well, she finishes it, and you know what it looks like. It looks like toxic waste has covered this thing, right? Kind of like happens in our spirits when we not careful and intentional about what we feed ourselves. Because you become what you think about. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You got to be careful. You become who you hang around with. Your verbiage is the same. You use the same good words and the same bad words that they use. It's very interesting. She takes this toxic glass and sits it in the sink. You've done this. Turns on the hot water. Lets it run. Walks away. Goes, changes clothes, or does something around the house, whatever she's going to do, makes that different thing, makes something happen. And you know what happens, right? The clean, warm water, the good information that's life-changing enters, and you know what it does? It displaces or boils out in 1 minute and 16 seconds, if you fast forward the video, all of the toxins. The toxins boil out. The nuclear waste is gone. And there's a clean or semi-clean glass sitting there. You've done this, haven't you? I call that the displacement theory. If you have junk in your life, you say, well, I grew up in a dysfunctional family. Honey, we all did. They had people in them. My family put the fun in dysfunction. Shut up. We're hillbillies, man. I mean, we fight just because we think it's a sport. You got fun in dysfunction? You came up from a bad situation? I understand. It's in the past. Decide what you're going to look at with your future. Decide what you're going to put in. You're going to put more of that same stuff in? Not and expect a different result. Put something else in. Do what you're doing this week. Read, learn, become something. Decide, I'm going to be something different. I'm going to choose. I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to make a choice. The most powerful thing the human has at our disposal is the ability to choose and to, as an act of my intention, to do something different. I can just decide. It's amazing. Now, it's going to be hard. It's not magic. It's not like I decided, and so now I'm going to sit in the recliner and watch it happen. No. Deciding means you're going to do whatever it takes. No one gets to the Super Bowl and they're doing the interview after the Super Bowl and they're going, so what does it feel like to get to the Super Bowl? Oh, this is the Super Bowl? I had no idea. I don't know how I got here. I just showed up and they handed me the football. It never is an accident that someone wins the Super Bowl. It's an act of intentionality from age 6 to age 26. Everything, we sleep with a freaking football. Everything is about accomplishing that goal. They pay whatever price, whatever they have to do to their bodies, and they become 0.5% of the public in the U.S. in terms of physical intelligence, and the things those men can do with their bodies to play in the NFL is unbelievable. The things they can do in midair and they're 375 pounds that you and I couldn't do off a trampoline. It's amazing. But it's complete and total intentionality and focus. You become what you think about. When things are mediocre, it was a choice. It was a subconscious choice. You didn't sit down and go, oh, let's just be half butt and write that down as our goal. We're going to be the half butt organization. That's our new mission statement. We are half butt. That's us. You're not going to do that. You don't do that actually. But what you do is you don't act on something on purpose, and by not doing that, you leave room for the other stuff in the glass. By not flushing the other stuff out. Belief creates action. And action causes results. If you believe that tube with wings is going to fly, you take the action of getting on it, and the result is you arrived here many hours sooner than if you had ridden a bicycle. Because you didn't believe that tube with wings would fly. And they say dumb things to us on these airplanes. Would you please get on the plane? No, I would prefer to get in the plane. Why did you tell me? And they call it a terminal. I don't like that. I don't know if I want to pull up to the terminal. What does that mean? These are bad ideas. And yet, in spite of all of that, we get on a tube with wings and we are not shocked that it flies.